Welcome to Elder Zen. Hit subscribe for simple health tips made just for seniors. Stay tuned. Your next great day starts here. Let's start with a simple question. When was the last time you saw a commercial, a Facebook ad, or even heard a friend talk about some new supplement that supports healthy circulation or keeps your blood thin and flowing smoothly? Maybe you've walked through the pharmacy or scrolled online and seen bottles promising natural blood clot prevention, vascular health, or even pulmonary embolism protection, often decked out in green, gold, and white labels that make them look almost too good to be true. And you wonder, just for a moment, could it really be that easy? Could there be a simple pill, a plant extract, a vitamin, or a magic blend out there that could keep something as serious as a pulmonary embolism from happening to you or someone you love? It's not just a question for the curious or the cautious. For anyone who's ever experienced the terror of a blood clot or worried about the risks that come with age, surgery, travel, or chronic illness, the search for answers is deeply personal. If you're like most people, you've probably asked your doctor maybe more than once, is there something else I should be taking? Is there a supplement that can protect me? Or maybe you've read a story online about someone who swears that turmeric, natokinase, fish oil, or even garlic changed their life. You're not alone in this. In fact, millions of people around the world are buying and trying supplements every year, hoping for an edge against health threats that feel unpredictable and frightening. The supplement industry knows this, and it's booming, especially when it comes to products promising to support your heart, veins, and blood. But behind all the clever marketing and glowing testimonials, there are real questions we need to answer. What do we really know about these so-called pulmonary embolism supplements? Can they truly prevent dangerous blood clots in the lungs, or is it all just hope and hype? Let's be honest, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be proactive about your health. In fact, asking questions and searching for ways to protect yourself is a sign of wisdom, not weakness. But it's also true that the world of supplements is full of conflicting advice, half-truths, and even outright scams. Some products claim to thin your blood naturally, while others boast about balancing your clotting factors or dissolving fibrin using scientific-sounding language. That makes them hard to question. So today, let's cut through the noise and get real. We're going to explore the truth about these supplements, what they can and can't do, what the latest science says, and most importantly, how you can make safe, confident choices for yourself or your loved ones. We'll look at the most popular ingredients like fish oil, turmeric, vitamin E, garlic, natokinase, and more, and see if any of them truly have the power to prevent pulmonary embolism or deep vein thrombosis. We'll talk about the risks, the side effects, and the reasons why even natural products aren't always harmless, especially if you're taking medications like blood thinners or managing other chronic conditions. And just as importantly, we'll look at the proven, doctor-recommended ways to protect your blood vessels and lower your risk, because when it comes to pulmonary embolism, the best protection is always a mix of medical guidance, healthy habits, and yes, a dose of common sense. As we start this conversation, I encourage you to bring an open mind but also a healthy dose of skepticism. Don't let fear or flashy marketing lead you into decisions that could put your health at risk. Remember, your health is too precious to trust to promises on a bottle or testimonials from strangers online. Instead, let's rely on science, experience, and a commitment to what's truly best for your body at any age. So, settle in. Maybe grab a notebook to jot down questions for your next doctor's visit, and join me as we dive into the world of these pulmonary embolism supplements. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of what works, what doesn't, and what really matters when it comes to keeping your blood and your life flowing strong. Ready to find out the real story? Let's get started. Now that we've set the stage, let's pause for a moment and get to the heart of what actually happens inside your body when we talk about blood clots, and why so many people look for a natural fix. The human body is full of wonders, and one of its most remarkable defenses is its ability to form clots when we're injured. Imagine cutting your finger while preparing dinner. Almost instantly, your blood rushes to seal the wound, protecting you from further harm. That same clotting process is a lifesaver until, of course, it shows up in the wrong place. At the wrong time, here's where things get complicated and, for many, a little frightening. As we age, or if we have certain chronic illnesses, the risk of blood clots increases. Our blood may become stickier or slower to flow, especially if we've been sitting for a long time, recovering from surgery, or simply not as active as we once were. That's when something as simple as swelling in the calf or a bit of chest discomfort can signal the start of a much bigger problem. Now, it's understandable why so many people, especially older adults, are drawn to supplements that claim to keep blood thin or support circulation. The promises are everywhere. Bottles that whisper hope, internet articles that claim a hidden cure, and even friends or neighbors who share their miracle vitamin stories. For example, you might remember hearing about Frank from church. Frank, 69, started taking a garlic supplement after reading that it could dissolve clots. He swore he felt better and even convinced others to try it, passing the bottle around at Sunday lunch. But let's slow down and look at the facts. What do scientists and doctors actually say about these supplements? Is there real evidence that something you can buy over the counter can truly prevent something as serious as a pulmonary embolism? Or are we being lulled into a false sense of security by pretty packaging and powerful anecdotes? First, the basics. The most common supplements people turn to for clot prevention include fish oil, vitamin E, turmeric, ginger, nattokinase, a Japanese enzyme, and sometimes even over-the-counter aspirin. The theory behind many of these is that they can help thin your blood or reduce inflammation, making it less likely for clots to form. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. Science often tells a more complicated story. Take fish oil. For instance, there is evidence that omega-3 south can reduce inflammation and may offer some heart protection. But studies on its effects for clot prevention in real-world seniors are mixed at best. Some doctors worry about taking high doses, especially if you're already on blood thinners, because it might tip the balance too far and increase your risk of dangerous bleeding. The same goes for vitamin E. While it's true that it can interfere with clotting, it can also interact with medications and isn't always safe, especially for those on prescribed anticoagulants. Turmeric and ginger are often hailed as natural anti-inflammatories. They certainly have their place in a healthy diet, adding flavor and possibly offering mild health benefits. But can they truly stop a blood clot in its tracks? The research is still very young, and no reputable doctor would ever tell you to rely on turmeric instead of medical treatment if you're at risk for pulmonary embolism. Then there's nattokinase. You may have heard from someone like Susan, a 73-year-old neighbor who swears it helped her legs feel less heavy. Yet, while nattokinase does have some enzyme activity in the lab, there's very little human evidence that it actually prevents dangerous clots in the veins or lungs, and it too can interact with other medications. The real bottom line is this. While certain supplements may help support general wellness or cardiovascular health, no supplement has been proven to reliably prevent or treat pulmonary embolism, and relying on them instead of prescribed blood thinners, doctor-monitored care, and real lifestyle changes could put you at serious risk, as tempting as the promise of an easy fix may be. The science simply isn't there yet. The safest course is always to talk to your doctor before starting any supplement, especially if you take medications or have a history of blood clots. Your body deserves real, evidence-based care. And that often means a blend of smart choices, medical guidance, and, sometimes, a dash of skepticism when something sounds too good to be true. In our next segment, let's go deeper. We'll look at the hidden risks of mixing supplements with common medications, and share the story of Tom, who learned this lesson the hard way. Stay with me. Your health is worth every moment of attention and care. Now that we've peeled back the layers on why so many are tempted by over-the-counter supplements for blood clots, it's time to dive deeper into a topic that's just as important, maybe even more so. Let's talk about the unexpected dangers that can arise when you mix supplements with prescribed medications, especially the kind your doctor gives you to prevent or treat blood clots. Let's be honest, it's easy to assume that anything natural is safe. After all, who hasn't? Walked down the vitamin aisle at the pharmacy and thought, if it's on the shelf, it must be good for me. But here's the reality. Your body doesn't always see a difference between a supplement and a pharmaceutical drug. Everything you swallow, whether it's a tiny pill from a prescription bottle or a herbal capsule from the health food store, has to be processed by your liver, your kidneys, your blood. And sometimes what looks harmless can actually set off a chain reaction with real risks. Let's bring this to life with a true story. Tom, a 77-year-old retired mailman, always prided himself on his independence. He took good care of his health, stayed active, and kept up with his doctor's appointments. After a minor surgery, his doctor put him on a blood thinner to reduce his risk of a pulmonary embolism. Around the same time, Tom's neighbor recommended a supplement she'd read about online, something that claimed to support heart health and keep blood flowing. Without a second thought, Tom added it to his morning routine. At first, he felt fine. But then, a few weeks later, Tom noticed he was bruising more easily, his arms and legs dotted with purple marks after the smallest bump. Then came the nosebleeds, hard to stop and always at the worst moments. By the time he made it back to his doctor, his blood was so thin it took longer than normal to clot. Tom's doctor asked about any changes in his diet, new medications, or supplements. Only then did Tom realize the supplement, so innocent on the surface, was interacting with his prescribed blood thinner. Multiplying its effects, Tom was lucky. With careful monitoring and stopping the supplement, he recovered. But his story is a wake-up call, and not just for him. Many seniors, wanting to do everything possible to stay healthy, don't always realize that supplements and medications can collide in the body with sometimes dangerous consequences. Here's what we need to remember. Some supplements can actually make your prescribed blood thinners too strong, dramatically increasing the risk of dangerous bleeding. Whether that's a bad nosebleed, bruising, or worse, internal bleeding, others might do the opposite, making your medication less effective and leaving you exposed to the very risk you were trying to avoid: a blood clot in your lung or leg. Let's look at a few examples. Fish oil, vitamin E, ginkgo biloba, and garlic supplements all have mild blood-thinning properties. When combined with prescription anticoagulants like warfarin, apixaban, or rivaroxaban, the result isn't just double the benefit, it can be double the danger. Even herbal teas, like those containing licorice root or St. John's wort, can alter how medications are absorbed or broken down in your body. And it's not just about blood thinners. Medications for blood pressure, diabetes, or even simple painkillers can be affected by supplements. The interactions are complicated, often invisible, and can happen even if you've taken both for months without trouble. Sometimes, all it takes is a new medication or a higher dose to tip the balance. So, what's the bottom line? Before you start any supplement, no matter how harmless it sounds, talk to your healthcare provider or pharmacist. Bring a list of everything you take, including vitamins, teas, and even energy drinks. Your doctor isn't there to judge or scold. They just want you to stay safe. And if you notice unusual bruising, bleeding, headaches, weakness, or confusion, don't wait. Pick up the phone and call for advice. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Many Americans, just like Tom, have learned the hard way how important it is to treat every pill, prescription, or natural with respect and caution. Your health is worth the extra question, the double check, the honest conversation with your care team. By being proactive, you're taking a powerful step to protect yourself and those you love. In our next segment, we'll uncover the marketing, tactics behind miracle supplements, and why it's so important to be a savvy, empowered consumer in today's world. Stick with me, there's so much more to learn, and every bit of knowledge can make a difference for your future. As we continue on this journey, it's time to shed light on an industry that often preys on our hopes, our fears, and our desire for a quick fix. The supplement market. Might be surprised to learn just how much money is spent every year by Americans hoping to protect their hearts, their veins, and their independence with a bottle from the local pharmacy or an ad on late-night TV. Let's take a closer look at what's really going on behind the scenes. The supplement industry is booming. Ads are everywhere on your Facebook feed, your favorite radio station, even those mailers that show up in your mailbox. You see big words like clinically proven, doctor recommended, and scientifically formulated. The pictures often show healthy, smiling seniors walking on the beach, gardening, or playing with grandchildren. It's a world that looks so inviting, so full of hope. But here's the secret that companies rarely share. In the United States, dietary supplements are not regulated by the FDA in the same way that prescription drugs are. That means no one is checking to make sure each pill actually contains what the label says or that it really does what it claims. Instead, companies can use clever wording to make their product sound like a miracle without ever having to prove it with real science. Let's hear a story that might sound familiar. Mary, a 72-year-old grandmother from Ohio, was always careful about her health. When she saw an online ad for a natural vein health formula that promised to reduce clot risk and improve circulation, she was curious. The testimonials on the website were glowing people with names like Susan T. and Bill K. claimed their lives had changed overnight. Without thinking twice, Mary ordered a 3-month supply. Weeks went by and Mary didn't notice much difference. But the emails kept coming, full of urgent messages. Don't miss your next dose. New research shows this could be the key to a longer life. Mary felt pressure to keep buying, even though her doctor had never mentioned the supplement. When she finally brought the bottle to her next appointment, her doctor smiled gently and explained the reality. Most supplements like these have never been tested in large, well-designed studies. Some may be harmless, but others could interact with her heart medications or even cause kidney problems over time. And those glowing testimonials, many are written by paid actors or copied from other sites, rarely from real people. What's more, supplements are big business. Companies spend millions targeting older adults with health worries, using words like support, boost, and promote. They're careful never to promise an actual cure, but they nudge you right to the edge, making it easy to believe you're missing out if you don't buy. So, how can you protect yourself and your family? First, develop a healthy skepticism. Before you buy any supplement, ask these questions. Has this product been reviewed by independent experts or large studies? Is the company transparent about its research, ingredients, and possible side effects? What do respected sources like the Mayo Clinic or the American Heart Association say? Second, talk to someone you trust, your doctor, your pharmacist, or even a knowledgeable family member. Bring the bottle to your appointment. Ask, is this safe for me? Remember, what works for one person may not be right for another, especially if you have medical conditions or take other medications. Third, watch out for red flags. If a product promises to cure blood clots, erase your risk, or work instantly, be wary. Health is rarely so simple. Real solutions take time, effort, and teamwork with your healthcare team. Let's not forget the role of community. Share your experiences, good or bad, with friends at church, at the senior center, or in your neighborhood. You might save someone from making the same mistake or discover a helpful resource together. As we wrap up this segment, remember Mary's story. Like so many Americans, she wanted to do the right thing, but was nearly caught by clever advertising. Her willingness to ask questions and talk with her doctor helped keep her safe. In our next segment, we'll talk about proven, practical steps you can take without risky supplements to keep your blood flowing freely and your confidence high. You have more power than you think, and together we can build a path to better health, one honest conversation at a time. As we continue this important conversation, let's talk about something that's just as vital as prevention: truly listening to your body. While it's easy to get swept up in routines and everyday busyness, it's often the quiet, subtle signals, those gentle nudges from within, that deserve our greatest attention. But what are the real warning signs of a pulmonary embolism? And how can you or a loved one separate the everyday aches and pains from something more serious? Let's break it down together, because sometimes the difference between safety and risk is simply a matter of knowing when to act. Let me share a story to make this real. Margaret, a vibrant 74-year-old from Ohio, always prided herself on toughing it out. She was used to occasional leg cramps after gardening or some mild shortness of breath when climbing the stairs. But one afternoon, Margaret noticed her left calf was swollen, warm, and unusually tender, much more than after her usual activities. At first, she tried to brush it off, yet something in her gut told her this was different. That night, she felt a tightness in her chest, and her heart raced uncomfortably. Trusting her instincts, Margaret called her daughter, who rushed her to the ER. Their doctors quickly diagnosed a blood clot that had traveled to her lungs. Obiki paid attention and acted. She avoided a tragedy. Her story teaches us a powerful lesson. You don't need to panic, but you do need to know what's worth a call or a visit to your doctor. So what should you be watching for? The classic symptoms of a pulmonary embolism include sudden shortness of breath, chest pain, especially if it worsens when you breathe deeply or cough, rapid or irregular heartbeat, and coughing, sometimes even coughing up blood. If you experience lightheadedness, feel faint, or break into a sudden sweat, don't delay. These symptoms may arrive suddenly or build up over hours, but not all warning signs are dramatic. Some are surprisingly subtle, especially in older adults. Unexplained swelling, redness, or warmth in one leg, especially if paired with tenderness or a cramping pain, deserves attention. Persistent fatigue, mild confusion, or a feeling of just not being yourself can also be early indicators, especially if you have other risk factors like recent surgery, long travel, or chronic illness. It's also worth talking about what not to do. Too many folks, especially those of us raised to tough it out, hesitate, or second-guess themselves. Maybe you've heard friends like Paul, a 69-year-old from Michigan, say, "I didn't want to bother anyone," or "it's probably just old age." Paul ignored a strange pain in his leg for several days until one morning he could barely catch his breath. That delay meant a longer, harder recovery. And now he tells everyone, if it feels off, don't wait, get checked. If you aren't sure, ER on the side of caution. It's always better to make a trip to your doctor or the emergency room and find out it's nothing than to ignore a sign that could save your life. And if you're caring for a loved one, an aging parent, a partner, or even a neighbor, be alert to their complaints. Changes in their walking, skin color, or energy. Sometimes, you might notice things they miss. Remember, your body is your greatest ally. It whispers before it shouts. By tuning in to its messages, you're not only protecting yourself, but setting an example for friends and family. So as we move forward, let's carry this mindset. Knowledge, attention, and prompt action are powerful shields against pulmonary embolism. In our next segment, we'll dive into how to talk openly with your healthcare team, what to share, what to ask, and how to become your own strongest advocate. Because the journey to health is never walked alone, and every question you ask brings you one step closer to peace of mind and vibrant living. Stay tuned, stay observant, and remember your instincts and your attention could be your most important life-saving tools. Now that you understand the warning signs, let's talk about another essential skill: how to communicate with your doctor and get the care you truly need. This is where your voice and your story make all the difference. Too often, especially as we get older, it can feel intimidating to speak up in a medical setting, or even to remember all the things you wanted to mention once you're sitting in that exam room. But here's the thing: your doctor isn't a mind reader. The clearer you are about what you're experiencing, the more precise and effective your care will be. In fact, telling your story clearly can sometimes mean the difference between a quick diagnosis and a dangerous delay. Let's begin with a real-life example. Meet Linda, a warm-hearted grandmother from Georgia. Linda had always trusted her doctor, but when she started noticing mild swelling in her right leg and a fluttering feeling in her chest, she hesitated. "I didn't want to make a fuss," she said. But one afternoon, while helping her grandson with his homework, she became dizzy and struggled to catch her breath. That was the turning point. She wrote down every symptom, no matter how small, and brought her list to her appointment. By sharing her story openly, she helped her doctor connect the dots quickly, leading to a prompt diagnosis and a recovery plan that put her back on her feet in no time. Linda's story reminds us of a simple truth: preparation is power. Before your next appointment, take a few minutes to jot down your symptoms when they started, how they've changed, what makes them better or worse. No detail is too small. Did the swelling appear after a long trip? Did you notice pain in just one leg or both? Were you taking any new medications? All of these clues are important for your doctor. And remember, it's not just about the physical symptoms. Share how you're feeling emotionally too. Are you anxious, sleeping poorly, or worried about your future? Sometimes the things that keep us awake at night are just as relevant as what's happening in our bodies. Here's another tip. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if they seem basic or you think you should already know the answers. Doctors appreciate patients who are proactive, and there's no such thing as a silly question when it comes to your health. You might ask, could this swelling mean a blood clot? Or what can I do to lower my risk of pulmonary embolism? If you're starting a new medication, ask about side effects or warning signs to watch for. And if you ever feel rushed or unheard, it's okay to speak up. Bring a trusted friend or family member along. They can take notes, help remember instructions, and be an extra set of ears. Take Jack, for instance, a retired school principal from Colorado. Jack always brought his daughter Emily to appointments after his pulmonary embolism. Emily kept a notebook with all his questions, and together they made sure nothing was forgotten. It made a world of difference, Jack says. I felt like I had a team behind me, and my doctor noticed things I might have missed on my own. Finally, if you ever leave a visit feeling uncertain, don't hesitate to call the office for clarification or to schedule a follow-up. Your peace of mind is important. And if you sense that your concerns aren't being taken seriously, it's okay to seek a second opinion. Your health is worth it. As we move forward, keep this in mind. Advocating for your health is not just your right, it's your responsibility. By speaking up, sharing your story, and asking questions, you become the most important member of your own care team. Next, we'll talk about building daily habits that reinforce everything you're learning, small changes that add up to big results for your health and independence. Stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, every conversation you have with your doctor is a step toward a safer, brighter future. Now that we've covered the power of your voice in the doctor's office, let's talk about something equally important: the choices you make day in and day out. If there's one thing every survivor or health expert agrees on, it's that small, steady habits are the real heroes in protecting your health. The journey to preventing something as serious as a pulmonary embolism isn't made in a single leap. It's built quietly and confidently. In the daily rhythm of your life, let's start with a story from the heartland. Meet Mary, a 73-year-old. From Iowa, Mary used to think that health was all about doctor visits and medications. But after her own scare with a blood clot, she realized that her day-to-day routine was just as important. She began by setting an alarm to get up every hour and walk around her living room, even if just for a few minutes. At first, it felt silly. But after a month, she noticed her legs weren't swelling as much, and her mood improved. It wasn't about running marathons. Mary laughs, just reminding myself to move and breathe. Why do these little actions matter so much? Because our bodies are designed for motion. Each time you flex your feet, climb the stairs, or stroll to the mailbox, you're pumping blood back to your heart, lowering the chance that a clot will form and sneak up on you. And you don't need fancy gym memberships or a personal trainer. Consistency, not intensity, is what matters. So let's make this practical. What are the pillars of a clot preventing routine? First, movement. Not just formal exercise, but gentle, frequent activity throughout your day. Even stretching your toes, marching in place during commercial breaks, or taking the dog outside can make a huge difference. If you need a nudge, try what Bob in Texas did. He put sticky notes on his TV remote, fridge, and bathroom mirror to remind himself. Move now, live longer. Second, hydration. It's so easy to forget, especially in cooler months, but drinking enough water helps keep your blood flowing smoothly. Remember, dehydration makes your blood thicker, just what you don't want. Alice, a retired teacher in Ohio, keeps a bright blue water bottle by her side all day. It's my visual cue, she says. If I see it, I sip it. Find what works for you: a favorite mug, a reminder on your phone, even a drinking schedule posted on your fridge. Third, smart nutrition. Your meals can be a medicine cabinet in disguise. Choose foods rich in fiber, healthy fats, and natural antioxidants. Leafy greens, fish, berries, and whole grains all support healthy blood vessels and keep inflammation at bay. And don't underestimate the power of a shared meal. Gathering for dinner, swapping recipes, or simply enjoying a cup of tea with friends not only fuels your body, it feeds your spirit and lowers stress, which is another hidden risk for blood clots. And speaking of stress, that's our fourth pillar. Chronic worry and poor sleep can set off inflammation in your body, making clots more likely. Find little rituals that help you unwind. A few deep breaths before bed, writing in a gratitude journal, or calling a friend for a chat. Take John in Florida. Every morning, rain or shine, he walks his granddaughter to the school bus, then spends 10 minutes meditating on his porch. He says it centers him for the day and helps him feel in control. Finally, don't forget your medications. If you're on blood thinners or have been prescribed compression stockings, use them as directed. Missing doses or skipping steps can undo all your good work. Keep a checklist, set reminders, and ask your pharmacist for help if you ever feel confused as you weave these habits into your daily life. Remember, every little action adds up. Health isn't a finish line you cross, it's the sum of thousands of small choices made with care and intention. As Mary, Bob, Alice, and John would tell you, the secret isn't perfection, it's persistence. So, what will you do today to take care of your future self? Maybe it's a walk around the garden, a phone call to a friend, or a big glass of water right now. Every positive choice is a promise to yourself and a step toward a life filled with more freedom, strength, and joy. Stay tuned, because up next, we'll explore how to bounce back from setbacks and stay motivated even when life gets busy or tough. As we come to the end of our journey together in this video, I want to invite you to take a deep breath, a breath of gratitude, a breath of hope, a breath that reminds you just how precious each moment of health really is. Maybe right now, you're sitting in your favorite armchair, the afternoon sun filtering in. Or perhaps you're listening as you tidy up the kitchen or walk through your garden. Wherever you are, this moment is yours. And if you take away only one thing from everything we've shared today, let it be this: you are more powerful than you think. Throughout this video, we've uncovered the secrets of advocating for your own health, learned about the hidden dangers of pulmonary embolism, and explored the simple yet profound ways you can protect yourself. But knowledge alone isn't enough. It's what you do with that knowledge that truly matters. It's the conversations you start, the questions you ask, and the small changes you weave into the fabric of your daily life. Let's reflect for a moment. Think back to Helen from Nebraska, who didn't hesitate to speak up at her doctor's appointment when something felt off. She trusted her instincts, shared her family history, and caught a problem before it spiraled. Or remember Charles in Pennsylvania, who kept a health journal, jotting down symptoms and changes he noticed, not just for himself, but so he could bring clear notes to his medical visits. His story is a reminder that preparation is a form of self-respect, a way of saying, my health matters and I won't leave it to chance. You don't have to be a medical expert or have all the answers. What you do need is the courage to advocate for yourself and the people you love. That means taking an active role in your appointments, writing down questions, double-checking your medication list, and never being afraid to ask for a second opinion if something doesn't feel right. Doctors are experts in medicine, but you are the expert on your own body. Your lived experience, every ache, every breath, every concern has value. But advocacy isn't just for the doctor's office. It starts at home. It's there when you lace up your walking shoes for a stroll around the block, or when you choose water over soda at lunch. It's in the gentle reminder to stretch your legs during a long TV marathon, and in the call you make to a friend just to check in. Each action, no matter how small, is a declaration. I choose life. I choose strength. I choose to keep learning and growing, no matter my age. Some days, that advocacy will be easier than others. There will be times when you feel tired or discouraged, or when old habits sneak back in. And that's okay. Progress is never a straight line. What matters is your willingness to try again tomorrow. As Susan, a vibrant 68-year-old from Georgia, says, I give myself grace on the hard days, but I never stop moving forward. Her words are a gentle nudge for all of us. Be kind to yourself on this journey. Let's not forget the ripple effect you have on those around you. When you take charge of your health, you set an example for children, grandchildren, friends, and neighbors. You become the person who starts important conversations, who shares what you've learned, and who encourages others not to ignore warning signs or delay care. Like Bill from Minnesota, who after his recovery from a pulmonary embolism, made a point of sharing his story at his community center, inspiring a neighbor to get checked and catch a clot in time. Your voice could truly save a life. Before we wrap up, here are a few reminders to keep close. Stay curious. Read, watch, and ask questions about your health. Trust yourself. If you sense something's wrong, speak up, even if it feels uncomfortable. Build your team. Lean on family, friends, and your healthcare providers. You're not alone in this. Celebrate progress. Every walk, every healthy meal, every proactive step is a victory. Share what you learn. Knowledge multiplies when it's shared. And as we say goodbye for now, remember, this isn't just about avoiding illness or ticking off checklists. It's about building a life that's rich with meaning, connection, and joy. It's about claiming your role as the main character in your own story, one where each chapter is shaped not by fear or fate, but by the choices you make every day. So as you finish this video, maybe pause for a moment. Jot down one new question. For your doctor, text a loved one to check in, or simply step outside and fill your lungs with fresh air. Every action, no matter how ordinary, is a step toward the extraordinary. Thank you for trusting me to walk beside you on this journey. Your health, your voice, your legacy, they matter more than you know. If this video helped you, share it with someone you love. Leave a comment below about your own experience, and let's build a community of empowered, wise, and resilient seniors together. And don't forget, subscribe, like, and hit the bell for more practical, inspiring advice on living your best, healthiest life at any age. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, and never stop advocating for yourself. Because your story is far from over, the best is yet to come. Let's pause for a moment and shift our focus from all those pills and promises to what truly matters. Simple, real steps you can take every day to lower your risk of pulmonary embolism and boost your overall health. Instead of reaching for a miracle supplement, imagine building your own foundation for wellness. Brick by brick, with actions that have stood the test of time and scientific study. So, where do you start? It's often not about dramatic changes, but small, steady steps that add up. Take, for example, George from Indiana. At 68, after his health scare with a blood clot, George felt overwhelmed by advice. Should he buy expensive pills? Should he follow some trendy online routine? Instead, his doctor reminded him of something simple. Movement is your best medicine. So George set a timer on his phone for every hour. Whether he was reading, watching a game, or chatting on the phone, he'd stand up, stretch, walk around his kitchen, or march in place for a few minutes. Over time, not only did his energy return, but he noticed less swelling in his ankles and more confidence with each passing week, and George isn't alone. Decades of research have shown that regular movement, even gentle activity, helps keep your blood flowing smoothly. You don't have to run marathons or buy fancy equipment. Start with what feels good. Stroll in your garden, walk the hallway. Do seated exercises while watching your favorite show. The key is to avoid long stretches of sitting or lying down. Even small movements repeated throughout the day can work wonders. But movement is just one piece of the puzzle. Staying hydrated is another powerful way to support your body. Think of your blood as a river. It flows best when it's not thick or sticky. Barbara, a retired school teacher in Georgia, used to forget to drink water, especially on chilly days when she didn't feel thirsty. Her nurse daughter brought her a colorful water bottle and set a goal for her: 1 glass with every meal and another before bed. Barbara found her headaches disappeared, and her doctor even commented on her improved circulation. You might also be wondering about food. Here's some reassuring news. There is no magic food that can prevent blood clots overnight, but a balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, healthy fats like olive oil or fish, and low in processed meats and extra salt, helps protect your heart, veins, and arteries. Don't stress over perfection. Instead, focus on colorful plates and variety. Try to swap in berries, spinach, beans, or grilled salmon once or twice a week. Simple, real food, no fancy superfoods required. Next, don't underestimate the importance of knowing your medications. This is where teamwork with your healthcare provider truly shines. After his own clot scare, Tom, age 75, started keeping a simple list of his medications, including any vitamins or over-the-counter remedies. At his next appointment, his doctor spotted a risky interaction between his herbal supplement and his prescription blood thinner. Catching that early made all the difference. Never be afraid to ask, is this safe for me? Or will this interact with my blood thinner? Finally, make prevention a family affair. Share what you learn with your children, siblings, or neighbors. Sometimes the healthiest habits come from shared commitment. Join a walking group at your local senior center, or challenge a friend to a water drinking contest for a week. Not only does it keep you motivated, but it also builds community and accountability. Remember, there is no single supplement or shortcut that can protect you from pulmonary embolism. The real secret is in small, daily actions, movement, hydration, balanced nutrition, medication awareness, and support from those around you. Just as George, Barbara, and Tom discovered, health isn't about buying hope in a bottle, but about choosing yourself day after day with kindness and intention. Up next, we'll explore what to watch for in your body, real warning signs that mean it's time to get help. Because while prevention is powerful, knowledge is your next line of defense. Stay tuned, stay curious, and above all, keep moving forward one confident step at a time.